you have seen an era of like where we had hard disk which have little memory, but today in a small phone also you have an 8 GB RAM. So you've seen all this era, you've traveled through this. So what was the important change? I mean, you have noticed all these changes, so what was the thing which you feel something about it, like you've traveled, you've seen.
In fact, this is very interesting simultaneous happening that many people don't realize, which happened the late 1980s and early 1990s throughout the world. And that made all the difference. And it's not the hard disk, this is not just the computer, it's not just the mathematics. Maybe you don't realize it, but mathematics existed. A lot of these things were known to mathematicians. They still work in the same manner. Even computers existed, huge computers. I worked in a computer lab after my master's degree, before I went for PhD. The computer size was probably between wall to wall of this room.
Okay.
You're talking about hard disks, those were much later. Those computers didn't have hard disks. They were run into vacuum tubes. Then every morning they used to take out all the vacuum tubes, put into a tester and put them back. Then only it will work reliably for about 2 hours. Then I have to test it again. Then slowly things changed. But what I was telling you is the simultaneous occurring. 3 things happened. VLSI technology came. Suddenly, on a tiny piece of silicon, a lot of functionality in terms of computation could be put. The digital signal processing became a reality. Mathematics was known. The algorithms are understood, but nobody could do it on real time. You see, I have to process speech signal, I must do it as I speak. Yeah. This was not possible. Mathematics was known. So this happened because of VLSI again. Communication, suddenly the wireless communication came in place. Mobile is a consequence, but wireless. See, remember the olden days, you might still see it, these so-called walkie-talkies. That's how it started. See, everything, all of this happened at the same time. Interesting thing was that. And then the world went through the economic changes, and even India had that same time, trying to make the rupee floating and so on and so forth. All this put together made this happen.
Yes.
All over the world this happened. And even today it is happening. It is the technology which pushed science finally. Earlier it was science which to define engineering. To understand science, engineering considered an application of science. But at this point of time it changed to a situation where the technology decided what engineering should be. Science exists and existed and it has to be used. But the next thing that we do must be decided by the technology that comes. It's coming so fast. The first personal computer I purchased in IIT Kanpur, probably the first in any institution in India, in 1985. And that machine had a hard disk capability, 20 megabytes. Its memory was, can you imagine, 512 kilobytes.
Okay.
That was a PC, regular desktop. That is 1985, and in 5 years it changed. Another 10 years later, so I was buying things from Pentium based. Another 10 years later, the mobile came,
Yes.
the desktop gave way to the laptop. So nowhere, never in the world you have seen a technology which creates higher reliability at lower cost, at lower power, at higher amount of complexity and sophistication. Unbelievable.
So, Narayan Murthy was your student.
Yes.
So,
Actually taught it.
So, did you envision him to be so successful? Was he a very bright student when
No, he was a very strong leftist. That's what I knew about him at that time. And he took a job, he went to France, but he had that spark of idealism in him. And that took him through, because after working for a few years there, he felt that what he was doing is not going to be any great help to anybody else, like poor people of India. So he decided to come back. And two of his friends and himself, they sat together and decided to open this company. The company did not work at all well for several years. And at one point of time, his two partners decided to quit. And they told him that let us stop this company, close it. He said, if you want to quit, do quit, I'll buy your shares. Then they didn't quit. Another 3 years later, they broke through. That's how it happened. It also happened in the 90s, 91, 92. That is when things changed. The need for software became suddenly skyrocketing. That's how it happened.
So, there's one thing that I'm very curious about. So, he said that we envision you, we see you as a very a very perfect person. So,
But I'm not.
Yeah, we see you that
nobody
way.
should think anybody else is a perfect person. Everybody is a human being. Human beings should have failings, good things and bad things. You should look at what good things he has and try to emulate that. If he has bad things, then indirectly point it out. He will improve.
So, sir, has it ever happened that you did very badly on a test, or you failed a
Many
test?
times. I didn't fail. But
Okay.
badly, yes.
In college, in school, something that's very significant.
High school, I think I nearly failed in geography. I managed to pass, but didn't fail. In college, the chemistry lab, I almost flunked. But again, I managed to pass. So decided not to study chemistry any further. And so on. But
So what exactly inspired you to take up engineering?
nothing. I just went and saw things. I liked it and I decided. In fact, the way I went to that institute is also chance. I want to buy a book. There's somebody there who is like to sell these books again. So I went there to buy that. I walked into a lab, which was very new. It was hardly 5 years old at that time. Electronics laboratory, new degree and so on. And I seemed to like it. I said, well, our college, which is now Presidency University, it was Presidency College earlier, we had not seen such shining things. So I found out a little more, asked my professors. They said, yes, that is a good thing. So I said. And when somebody asked me, well, what good job will you get after this? Don't know. No idea. There is nothing like placement in those days. There is nothing like, companies coming to hire you. And this is not even engineering in those days. So, as long as you like to do what you are doing, you follow.
So, sir, when you were a student, were you that one star in the class that all the teachers like, and the favorite student for every teacher?
That depends.
Doing well every subject.
See, what happens in most schools and colleges, in some places there is one very shining person who gets through.
Yeah.
Not necessarily becomes a star later on. But there are places where there are a few people contending with each other and they go through quite well. I was probably of the second category.
Okay.
When I was in early stages of school, in fact my question was always a simple thing, why should I do well? And my father has no answer for it. He said, hey, don't you feel nice, you got a prize? Well, you can always buy a book. Prizes are books in those days. So, you start enjoying such things when you have a feeling of greed in you. I probably didn't have much of that. Even today I don't think I have much. So, I didn't want to do that necessarily for that purpose. But a stage came, I started learning and understanding them. And then enjoying them. And that happened in the later stage in school and college after that. And whatever I liked, I did after that. I studied only things I liked.
Okay.
That's true for many students, but you have to have a balance. You cannot fail it. You cannot go to the extent of neglecting something to the extent you fail.
Your typical schedule lasts from morning to evening, and again you get into assignments and you make quiz papers for us, you correct them. So every day from morning to night you're occupied with teaching and everything of academics.
Unfortunately.
So
Here, unfortunately.
okay. So
It wasn't like that in my earlier life. We had enough time to do other things. See, I played all my life, as I told you, up to 60 years of age.
yeah.
And I could find time for that. In IIT, you used to just go and play with the students, as long as I could.
I mean, could you...
And let me tell you this, that is one thing I really deplore about SNU. You don't have, in spite of these excellent facilities, people really that enthusiastic about sports and games. At least I have not met many. Maybe there are, there must be. But sports is not just as recreation. Sports is something that tells you how to accept defeat. And it rounds your personality extremely well. Because most people cannot accept a defeat. And, they really get emotionally charged up. And it happens to good students. I have some examples I've seen in my classes here. They really get fired up, How could I not top the class this time? That never happened to sports. Roger Federer loses to somebody else quite low in the rank, you will not mind. So, tennis is another favorite of mine. I keep watching a lot of tennis. Table tennis is something I used to play up to the 60 years of age. As I told, hockey I used to play, volleyball I played. I used to play anything that came my way. But in general, games and sports is extremely good for the personality. And that's one thing I feel one should inculcate. Culture is another thing. Music, anything else. Now, that's what I'm trying to say, that you are seeing a twisted image of me here. Because SNU, unfortunately, has just put me in the drill, in the milling machine. There's too much of a load here, faculty is not sufficient. And I have sympathy for my younger colleagues. So I try to do as much as I can.
So, my point was, anywhere you're teaching, we feel that you do it with full love and zeal. So
I wouldn't do it otherwise.
Yeah. So, given a day, without teaching and electrical, what would you do a whole day?
Whole day?
Without this academic environment?
Mostly I'll sleep. Because throughout the week I don't get enough time to sleep. But there are many other things, certainly. So like, if there is a tennis match anywhere in the world, I will be able to watch on TV. If there is a good cultural program, see, HCL keeps on doing it. Like next weekend, we have 3 days of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, musical extravaganza, very nice, classical music. I've come to this stage where I used to listen to anything. I've come to this stage where I don't find others so exhilarating as I do it now. My wife is, of course, a classical musician. That is not the only reason, though. I used to like it even earlier and like it even after. So these are the parts which I completely miss now because of this completely imbalanced lifestyle that you have seen me leading. Not a good thing to do. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. And I probably cannot become very dull anymore, but I don't want to be dull at all.
So you played till you were 60 and you walk at a pace, like very good pace, and you address the whole of B315 without a mic. So where do you get all this energy from?
Water. I drink water and nothing else. Milk, of course, as part of breakfast. But no tea, no coffee, no coke, no hot drinks. Because water is the highest energy. H2O, hydrogen energy. No, it's a joke. Yeah. But actually, I myself do not know. People have told me, and somebody else told me this, that you must be getting it from water. Because there's nothing else you drink. Everybody keeps on sipping things. I don't simply need it. But whenever I get a chance, I will drink water. But I think it is not that. I think the reason is here. It isn't in your mind. If you are excited about what you do, if you enjoy what you are doing, energy will come. Because the mind drives the body.
So, sir, one last question before we wind up. What is that one thing that that scares you? The one thing that when you think of it, you like frightened. You don't want that to happen. Just any one thing.
I have to think.
Yes, sir, sure.
Can't find it easily.
That's all right, sir. Like anything that.
As I said, I never feel nervous. Somehow. Maybe I have a lack of such emotions. Those particular parts of the brain are dull. They don't register fear.
So maybe the fear of fear of losing someone very close, losing something that is very close to you, the fear of maybe.
Why should I think about such things at all?
So like it's just.
Yeah, I know
human
people
tendency,
do.
so.
People do, but I don't.
Okay.
See, fear of a wild animal, maybe yes. But again, that is I keep on dreaming of such things. But I end up being friendly with them. I've always seen a lion standing up in front of me and then showing his big teeth and then smiles and gets converted into an actor. Seen this several times. Once it was Kishore Kumar, the lion became Kishore Kumar.
In the dreams? Like
in my dream.
Oh.
So, some things like this happen. And the other, people have all kinds of dreams. But, honestly speaking, the feeling of fear is not felt by me very often. I mean, somebody beats me, comes with that. I'll tell you a small story if you want to listen to that. I was coming by train with my son, he was at 8-9 years old that time, 3-tier, old days. And there are some hooligans in the train who wanted to play cards. So they wanted to give up our seats. So I won't do that. Then they pushed my son out. And I protested. Then he came and held my shirt and slapped me. My specs fell off. Normally, I believe I should be afraid. This is one instance I'm telling you. I was not. And I could see they would beat me to death if they want to. And I'm not a person who believes in that, show business, the hero fights back and takes care of the villains. It's not possible. So I simply said, well, you are thugs. You can kill me if you like. But you won't take me alive out of this place. So I'll be here. I'm sitting here. Do whatever you like. He kept on pushing me, jostling me. But you see, they are really passengers. They must play cards. The time was running out. His friends said, yaar, chodo. Ye nahi jayega. Chalo, idhar baith ke khelte. So they did that. This was near Kanpur. I was coming back to Kanpur. And I got down in Kanpur and caught up with the guy. I said, now I'll take you to police. So you can understand the lack of fear. Because there were 4 or 5 of them in a group. And I was with my son, little child. And I actually caught him. He became afraid. All thugs become afraid. He said, yaar, ye mujhe pakad ke kahan le ja raha? So I said, I'm going to take you to the police. So he said, chodo. And I let him go. But that shows that he was afraid at that time. So I do not know. Somehow the feeling of fear is relatively unknown to me.
So, sir, as something special, something quick and cheesy, we had planned a rapid fire for you. So it's not too many questions, some small questions, and in most questions we'll give you 2 alternatives and you just have to choose one. So I'll ask the question and you should try to answer as quickly as possible so that it is spontaneous. So we'll start now. Sports or music?
Sports.
Classes after 5, yes or no?
No.
Lectures or labs?
Labs.
Favorite IPL team?
No. None.
None. Okay. Favorite dish?
Chinese.
Huh?
Chinese.
Can you cook something Chinese?
No, I don't like to cook. I have cooked for 4 years in the United States. I don't cook anymore.
Do you believe in God?
No.
Are you realistic or optimistic?
Optimistic.
What is one hidden talent of yours?
To be able to adapt to the situation.
Okay. Cricket or table tennis?
Table tennis.
Yeah, that's it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
See, you ask cricket and IPL, things I absolutely hate.
So, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
It was really fun talking to you. We got to know about so many things, and we hope the audience enjoys it too when we put this out in a video. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much
sir.
for your time.
Now, off the record, I'll tell you a story. As a bonus to you. Now, you can